Thank you, everybody. Thanks for staying for the last day. It's great to see everybody. I want to thank the Media Post team once more. Great job, you guys. This is my first Media Post conference. Phenomenal work all the way around. Really wonderful job. Thank you so much. Okay, so reaching the right traveler at the right time. I actually want to talk a little bit about a new traveler that we're going after this year, which is the luxury traveler. I think I have a clicker here so I can pull this up. Yeah, so we're going after a luxury traveler, luxury audience, and this is Olivia. Olivia actually lives in Dallas, even though in this picture she's clearly not in Dallas. She's on vacation. She loves to explore lots of different destinations. She's an avid traveler, right? So she fits into this category that we would also consider a luxury traveler because she likes the finer things in life. Not only does she like to travel, she likes to shop, she likes to globetrot, and this is an audience that we are very interested in attracting. Unfortunately for us, Olivia went to Santa Fe this year. So that was kind of a bummer. I'm like, why? You know, New Orleans is great. What happened? We have a lot of interesting things in New Orleans, but we just weren't getting the right message in front of her at the right time. And so what we needed to do was kind of dig in a little bit as we planned our media for this year and our campaign for this year, about how do we get in front of her and how do we get that message in front of her. So, of course, New Orleans, for those of you who know, or those of you who don't, New Orleans is rich in soul, flavor, authenticity, but it hasn't really been top of mind for the luxury traveler. And despite our intentional, some would say even relentless sometimes, efforts to position the city as a cultural destination, it's often seen as casual, and at times maybe even a bit raucous. This is Bourbon Street, not too wild right now, but as opposed to curated and elevated, that tends to be the mindset for a lot of people in New Orleans. But the fact is, New Orleans is actually home to some amazing luxury experiences. This is the Chandelier Bar at the Four Seasons. Phenomenal espresso martinis, if you happen to be in town. They have a beautiful rooftop pool. This is the stunning Carousel Bar at the historic Monteleone Hotel in the French Quarter. This is the presidential suite at the Windsor Court where Oprah Winfrey, Sir Elton John, Sir Paul McCartney have all stayed. Not together, I don't think, but they've all stayed there. So it's a lovely place, right? I mean, who knows? It's New Orleans. Anything could happen. But as a destination, we also offer some really cool, immersive cultural experiences, things that you can't really get anywhere else. This is the Preservation Hall Jazz Band. And while it's open to everyone, there are also VIP experiences where you can get front row, guaranteed reserved seating. It's a real treat. You actually sit on a little bench. It doesn't feel super VIP until they start playing, and then you're like in the moment. So we think Olivia would probably really get into this because it's a story she could go back and tell. She'd probably also really love this place called MS Rao, which is an antique shop, but it's really more of like a museum. They have one-of-a-kind artifacts that you can't find anywhere else. Even Arnold likes to come in and shop there, so it's great for celebrities, former governors, you name it. And even if she's not into chess, some of the offerings they have on display are worth the story alone. So I'll just show you.
This is one of the most incredible chess sets in the world, depicting a very famous battle scene. The ancient Battle of Issus comes to life on this board. Alexander the Great fights along Athena, the god of war and wisdom, and they face off against King Darius and his winged god of war. Not only is it crafted of semi-precious stones and 14-karat gold, each figure stands on a base of either pink rhodonite or green malachite, and when you spin the ring at its base, it triggers a unique movement in each piece. The base is crafted of pure silver, sculpted in high relief to depict the battle scene. It took a master jeweler 14,000 man-hours over the course of a decade to craft the most intricate chess set available in the world.
So maybe Olivia isn't into chess, but this would be kind of a cool thing to take home, or at least talk about, right? They have all kinds of things like this. Even if you don't have a huge budget, it's definitely worth a visit. Of course, New Orleans is world-renowned for its cuisine. We think Olivia would love this tasting menu at Dakar Nola, which James Beard recognized as the best new restaurant in America in 2024. We also think she could cap off a beautiful night at Cure, which is a very prestigious bar. I guess they've won many prestigious awards at this bar, including Food and Wine, naming it America's Best Bar again. But none of this matters if she doesn't know about it, right? So it's really important for us to get in front of her with the right message at the right time, so we can get her to come to New Orleans. Our marketing opportunity is really to find people like Olivia, present them with unique upscale New Orleans experiences that they can't get anywhere else as they're planning these summer vacations. And just to give you a quick snapshot, this is our target audience. So we actually have two. We've the culture seeker on the left. Those are people we've talked to for years. They know us well, we know them. They are our tried and true audiences who love to come to New Orleans. These are the kind of people that are just innately curious. They're travelers, they're adventurers, they're discoverers. They're the kinds of people that if you put a box in their hotel room, they have to go open it up and see what happens. They love to be delighted and surprised. They really love to dive into a destination and explore it and go back with stories. So this year what we've done, though, is we've built on that by adding a luxury audience. And that's something that we haven't really done before, not to this level, so a little higher household income, much more interested in luxury experiences, and so we really have to kind of unlock what that means for this traveler. We launched a new brand campaign last year, and we branded New Orleans in a way that wasn't specific for the luxury traveler because we weren't doing that last year, but we did it in a way that we think there's some experiences that come to life in this piece that will resonate with her. So we're going to market with this, but we're going to do some more in addition to that. So I'll show you these two 30-second spots. These essentially position New Orleans as a person, a personification of the city, and we invite people to come to the city and not only experience it, but when you come to New Orleans, you leave a little bit of yourself in the city, and we hope that a little bit of the city stays with you. So this is the first spot.
I excite, I unite, I flaunt, I haunt, I make stomachs growl and horns howl. I make your feet move and your heart stand still. I am New Orleans. I put your worries to bed and keep you up at night. I'm your town deep down. Come see me at neworleans.com.
So that's one, and then we have another version also leaning into just unique experiences in the city.
I am cypress leaves, balconies, oak trees, harmony. I am jam sessions, history lessons, artistic expression, the occasional confession. I am New Orleans. I'm your town deep down. Come see me at neworleans.com.
So a little bit of luxury, right? Not fully curated for that luxury audience, but these campaigns just launched last year, and so we felt we could still go to market with them and get some effect out of it. These are our print and display, just showcasing these different elements of the city and the experiences along these same lines, personifying the destination. These are lines from the script. I make horns howl and stomachs growl. I'm New Orleans. I make your feet move and your heart stand still. While this creative is authentic and hardworking and really has done a very good job with our culture seeker, we realized that it just wasn't enough for our luxury audience. It just wasn't good enough. We had to do more, right? So we started looking at what other creative could we create and could we build for that audience. And one of the pieces of that was really important was developing a premium partnership with a media partner. And so Garden and Gun, for those of you who don't know, is a luxury upscale publication. They're based in Charleston. They have a huge reader base, primarily in the South. They do wonderful editorial. We partnered with them to build some editorial that'll also be featured on their newsletter, in their June, July, summer print travel issue, and on social. But this is a piece that just came out last week. It's 6 great reasons that you have to go to New Orleans. This is aimed directly at a luxury traveler looking for luxury experiences. So that's helped us out a lot. That picture right there is from Black Americana Fest. If you are into Black Americana, if you like music, it is an incredible festival. It'll be in year 2 this year, so I highly encourage you to check that out. Additionally, we're building social content to go after this audience. Paid social is a great way for us to really zero in on this target. So we're working with different influencers. This is an influencer named Caitlin Minshew, Eating with Kate on Instagram. It's a tough job in New Orleans, but we actually sent her out to eat at these amazing restaurants. The first one I'll show you is Emerald's, and she just put together a reel of like, here's what you can get in New
If you're looking for
Orleans.
some fun and unique dining experiences in New Orleans, then you're going to want to save this video. Starting off strong with Emerald's, which is by far one of the most beautiful and elegant dining experiences in New Orleans. Emerald's offers a unique tasting menu, and each course is beautifully crafted. They put their own twists on New Orleans classic dishes, from gumbo to barbecue shrimp and to their famous banana cream pie. Addie's Snola, which is an Ethiopian restaurant and one of the very few restaurants in New Orleans offering authentic Ethiopian Addie's food. Is known for...
So that's that piece, and we can continue to do this. That's the beauty of social. We can create stuff like this all day long. We could do stuff with the MS Rao place. We can do stuff with museums, etc. And then, because in case you haven't noticed, things have been a little chaotic. People have been a little uncertain about travel plans, and so we are testing new creative with our display, just positioning New Orleans as a place where you can reset, where you can kind of just forget about your troubles, forget about what's bothering you right now, take a load off, come to New Orleans, and reset everything and just enjoy yourself. So we're testing that right now, and then we are going to market in 41 different markets. So this is a bit ambitious for us. We typically, last year we were in 27 markets. We've decided to expand that, and we're watching this very closely, because if some of these markets are not performing the way we need them to, we'll rein that in. And it's been tough with all of this uncertainty, understanding which ones are going to be most effective. But obviously we have this region very close around us, which are our drive markets, and then we have a number of fly markets that have direct flights to the city, including Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, etc. And then, of course, premium connected TV. That allows us to get across a number of devices, targeting. This is something I think most of you are familiar with, and most of you do. This allows us to run those spots in a very targeted fashion towards these audiences, and also optimize as we're going. Online video, again, providing the contextual, behavioral, keyword targeting across multiple devices, putting us in brand safe positioning. The first iteration of this, I noticed we were actually showing up on CNBC and finance sites, and I was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, because like the headline was markets are open, and I was like, let's not put New Orleans right where the markets are opening. Let's figure out how to put this in other places so people are a little less stressed out. But we will test that and see. Maybe they will. It'll help them get their minds off of that. We're also doing some interesting things. We haven't done this one before. This is location-based targeting. It's a little creepy. I think everyone's kind of used to that to some extent now, but with Unicast, we're able to identify when Olivia is at a Ritz-Carlton or at a fancy hotel or an upscale venue, and then correlate that device to some of her other devices and serve her content. But we know she's a luxury traveler because of these places that she's been in. And of course, Amazon, just think about all the data Amazon has on all of us, incredibly rich first-party data. But we are experimenting now with their streaming service. They're the largest US ad-supported streaming service. And so there's opportunities there to really get in front of a very targeted luxury traveler. Dynamic display, this is an opportunity for us to test a lot of different creative on the fly and optimize on the fly. And so we're doing everything from deep sea fishing to luxurious hotels to fine dining. I love to test and learn. It doesn't matter if something doesn't work as long as we get a learning. And so I'm very excited about seeing how this continues to perform and optimize and see what resonates most with our luxury traveler. And then we're also doing programmatic audio, so Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts. We have radio versions of that TV spot that you heard. It's a little different script, but again, going after these affluent adventure seekers, trying to inspire them with different messaging at different points. So we're trying to cover all of our bases. One slide I don't have here is, if you remember Mike Petrola's talk yesterday from United and Connective, we're also working with United to identify United travelers who fly first class and who fly a lot to get in front of them as well. So we've got a lot of different channels that are working to help us identify this. This is just an 11-week campaign. It's a short summer campaign that started on April 15th. Audience size about 16 million. We're hoping to generate about 200 million impressions and drive just over 230,000 site visits. So how's it going so far? This is the $64,000 question. I spoke to some hoteliers earlier this week. They're all wondering too, because as you know, we don't have a cash register. We're promoting a destination. So we don't know, as soon as we show an ad, people aren't calling a number to say, hey, I'm coming to New Orleans, just put me down for a table. So as a result, we have to look at a number of different things. These are media metrics, which are at least an indicator to us in terms of how are people responding to the creative, right? So this is a quarter of the way in. We've generated 56,000 impressions. Everything is hitting or exceeding benchmarks. Driven 53,000 site visits. It's on pace with budget, which is a good indication for us that it's doing what we need it to be doing. Some of the learnings that we've gotten from this is that online videos are top performing driver of site traffic, and so we're going to do more of that. We'll be optimizing more for that. Dynamic display, obviously, making sure that it's contextually targeted properly. Streaming audio is actually beating display in a number of ways in terms of efficiency. And then obviously the bigger thing for us is we've never tried this many channels before, so we're really kind of seeing which ones work and if the combination of those channels have an effect that is greater than just the sum of their parts. Also interesting, fly markets were outperforming drive markets. This was a big surprise for me because I thought the people in our backyard would be more inclined to just pick up and come to New Orleans, but at least from a media metric standpoint, we're seeing the fly markets respond really well to the creative, which is a good sign. So here's Olivia again. Let's see what's going on. Oh, this is what we hope will happen. So she'll be reading her summer issue of Garden and Gun, the summer travel issue. She might be listening to Spotify in her Range Rover on the drive, I don't know, to pick up the kids somewhere. And then watching her favorite show on Amazon Prime, and we show up, right? Just saying, hey, Olivia, remember us? You just heard us in your car, and you saw us in Garden and Gun. And all of that, our hope is that it will drive her, right? Inspire her to go a little deeper, go to the neworleans.com website where we can really do some lifting and compel her to make plans to come to New Orleans. We have phenomenal content on that site, luxury itineraries, top restaurants. We have a new design that allows us to incorporate Instagram Reels embedded on the site itself, and so we're able to bring forward a lot of that luxury content in an engaging, compelling way through video. So
more moments later.
So hopefully more moments later, she will be in New Orleans and enjoying some wine, and then maybe heading to Press Hall for a night. Thank you. I wish I had a live band, but that's what we're doing. Happy to take some questions, do my best to answer them. Yes, Katie? We're an intimate group here. Thank you for being diehards and staying with us.
You had mentioned that you were surprised to see that flying markets are outperforming driving markets. My original question was going to be, how do you come up with your market? Where are you pulling that information from? So where is that surprise coming from, I guess, to some extent?
That's a great question. So it's a combination of data. We look at direct flights, which markets have direct, easy flights to New Orleans, and we actually do paid search and paid social, and we have custom landing pages for like Chicago. So we'll drive people from Chicago to we'll say, hey, Chicago, New Orleans is calling. You're 2 hours away from beignets and live jazz. And then we'll actually hit them on the website with more information to try to get them there with a direct flight search widget to actually get them to book. So direct flight markets are one. The other piece is historical data. Which markets have historically driven most people to New Orleans? And so we use a tool called Placer AI, which is location-based data, and it shows us the markets that tend to drive the most people. And then there's some insights that our programmatic partner is able to provide us in terms of market performance. And this is something that's always changing, right? So fly markets were beating drive markets the first 4 weeks in, but that may shift as the summer goes on. So we'll watch that very closely. And the other thing that I've really challenged the agency on is if any of these, I get overall fly markets are doing better, but if any of these markets are just not pulling their weight, then let's pull them. Let's close ranks and bring it in a little closer, or at least heavy up into the markets where we know they're working. It's the trickiest part for us is you're balancing media metrics with real world visitation. And travel is not something that, think about it. When you make travel plans, everybody's different. So it might take you 2 weeks, it might take you 6 weeks, 4 weeks, et cetera. So we're watching all of that very closely. Hopefully that answered your question. Any other questions?
Jeremy, I've got one for you. I'm curious. The actual experience of luxury, there can be a lot of expectations there.
Yeah.
I'm wondering from a creative standpoint, if you have any learning so far around what's resonating most. Is it shopping? Is it dining? Oh,
yeah.
Is it the echo of my voice? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Luxury.
Yeah, from a media performance standpoint, we're seeing the dining stuff do very well. The dining display, at least. I mean, the trick is, too, we have this brand campaign that we haven't really used up yet. We've only launched it last year. We're a small market. We punch above our weight. We always like to say that, like, for a small market, we host big events. We're known a lot more around the world than other similarly sized markets. But yeah, so we don't know if they're actually if the food piece is actually driving someone into the market or if it's just performing better on the media side. But the food pieces tend to always do very well, particularly the upscale stuff. And if you think about the world-class reputation New Orleans has as a culinary destination, that's kind of a sweet spot for us. Like we can do very well there, and we can position New Orleans as this place where you can't get these meals anywhere. You can have a great meal in Austin, you can have a great meal in Nashville, obviously, but New Orleans just has a little different experience.
Yeah, cool, thank you.
Great presentation. Jimmy from Abercrombie & Kent. I also work in the luxury space, as you know, and we are currently going through an audience segmentation exercise as well. So I was just kind of curious, given that luxury is such a broad spectrum, how did you guys land on Olivia as your target for the luxury customer for New Orleans?
Right, so we worked with our media partner, we worked with our agency to understand, like, what are things that we have that are going to line up with a luxury audience interests. So luxury could be, like, a lot of luxury travelers are going to be more inclined to go to a resort, right, or a spa. We have some of that, but that's not really the experience. We're not like an all-inclusive destination. We're the kind of destination that you really want to get out and explore in, and you really want to immerse yourself and experience the city. So it's not, we did some research years ago where we learned that New Orleans wasn't really a vacation, it was a trip. It was the kind of experience where you come to the city and you plug in. You go to Pres Hall, you go to MS Rao, you go to Emeralds, and just have this amazing feast. And so we looked for an audience that would align with those specific interests, as opposed to the people that are shopping for all-inclusive resorts or Turks and Caicos or another kind of luxury experience.
All right, thank you,
so
Jeremy.
much. Thanks.